Tonight, the doors open, leaders welcoming skilled migrants to work in regional areas. And Rudy Gomez secures the rights to drill in Lake Gardner.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. Our region's leaders have welcomed plans to bring more skilled migrants to country South Australia. They say we're in need of a population boost to fill job roles across a number of industries.
The next 5 years are expected to be a busy time. Between the various projects, thousands of jobs are predicted to be created across our region. While the work is there's concerns that people won't be.
We can't fill skilled jobs in our mining, steel sectors, in our general economy. We can't fill them right now.
It's a statewide problem with more locals and migrants choosing the eastern seaboard. A Commonwealth state partnership is aiming to reverse that. The two have signed a designated area migration agreement, paving the way for up to 750 skilled migrants to be directed here.
It'll enable people who need people with certain skill sets to navigate their way through the system more quickly.
Migrants will be forced to stay in the region for a certain period. It's welcome news for councils looking to boost the population.
This city was built for 50 or 60,000 people, so we already have the infrastructure, we already have the capacity to...
Good opportunity for us to work with state and federal to really get our regions going.
However, the Centre Alliance says the plan lacks detail for this region.
The mentions of regional South Australia are a blank page. Nothing in here that talks about what's going to happen.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Works have resumed at the Carrapateena copper mine following yesterday's helicopter crash which killed a 45-year-old Queensland man. Operations were suspended yesterday as authorities investigated the incident. Today, Oz Minerals confirmed all works had recommenced except for those on power lines. A report is being prepared for the coroner. With the New South Wales state election just days away, the Nationals are in the fight to retain the seat of Barwon. Candidate Andrew Scheer says he's been very busy travelling the electorate in an attempt to secure vital votes.
Barwon has been controlled by the Nationals for almost 70 years. Could Andrew Scheer be the next member to take the seat?
Getting around the electorate, letting people meet, listening to people talking and discussing how they're faring and what issues crop up.
The Nats face a tough challenge this election, but Mr Scheer says it's the party with the best intentions for the region. In the wake of mass fish deaths, which some locals blame the Nationals for, the Gilgandra-based poultry farmer doesn't blame irrigators, some of whom are based in the Barwon electorate.
The unfortunate impact that drought has on our river systems, and that sees that we don't have any water flowing through the system at the moment.
Mr Scheer says even though he may lack support at Far West polling booths, it's important to meet with those locals to hear their concerns. There's major concerns of the fate of the Menindee Lakes and the Darling River, Mr Scheer saying he knows all too well about the situation. He believes the lakes are needed and it's important that everyone gets their fair share of water and no irrational decisions are made.
We've got to be clever about our water and look after it and save it in pockets, not just send it all in one go to the environment and tick the box and say we've done it. We need to be able to store it and let it out steadily.
Mr Scheer would replace retiring Nationals member Kevin Humphreys if he wins on Saturday. Patrick Royenke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The RAA is putting pressure on the federal government to improve regional roads and infrastructure as part of its election wish list. One of the key items on the agenda is the 200-kilometre duplication of the Augusta Highway.
It's a vital link to the state's north, used by more than 4,000 vehicles every day. But the RAA says the Augusta Highway is one of the most dangerous roads in South Australia.
There are huge safety concerns on that highway.
Over the last 5 years, there have been 199 injuries and 19 fatalities on the stretch of road between Port Wakefield and Port Augusta. With the population of the Upper Spencer Gulf set to spike over the coming years, the Peak Motor Body is demanding the government make it one of their top priorities this election.
We see the duplication of Augusta Highway as an urgent need.
There is a strong argument there that the loads are increasing.
The RAA is proposing a stage duplication of the 200-kilometre highway with an estimated cost of $2 billion. It's a project both federal and state governments have been considering.
Just ideas, but I've certainly got their attention.
But local member Rowan Ramsey says he's not expecting an electoral commitment this year.
It'll take a while to do this, but I think it's absolutely should be on our agenda.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Labor has gone back to the future in selecting a candidate for Grey at the upcoming federal election. Karen Bolton, who first ran for the seat in 2007, has been pre-selected to take on Rowan Ramsey.
Karen Bolton is no stranger to running for federal parliament. Labor's candidate in 2007. Now 12 years on, the social worker from Whyalla is back for another go. While times have changed, her reasons for running haven't.
Got children, we've got 3 teenagers at home and I've got a 22-year-old son. I am concerned about their futures and their ability to stay in our regions.
Creating jobs is something she'll be strongly campaigning on. She's also backed her party's plan to reintroduce Sunday penalty rates, saying it's hurt locals' hip pocket.
And I think about tourism in our regions and sales in our regions, and a lot of people on lower incomes that rely on that extra penalty rate.
She also wants to see greater investment in healthcare and aged care to cope with growing needs. Increasing the amount of local apprentices also a key campaign issue. On the nuclear waste dump debate, Ms Bolton says Hawker and Quorn residents deserve to have the best measures in place.
It needs to be considered with good and stringent safeguards in place. It's a very complex issue.
Since losing it in 1993, Labor has not come close to winning the seat back. The Centre Alliance beat them into second place at the last election and are running once again. But that doesn't concern Ms Bolton.
My focus is on going out to communities and talking about good, strong Labor values.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Mining magnate Rudy Gomez has secured the rights to drill in Lake Gedney. Mr Gomez had previously been seeking permission to explore the area for copper. However, negotiations with traditional owners were necessary. Approval had been granted in 2017. However, Mr Gomez failed to tick the boxes relating to Aboriginal heritage before last year's state election. But now approval has been given the green light. He's previously committed to processing the material near Whyalla, saying up to 5,000 jobs could be created. Still to come tonight, we take a look at a new solar farm under construction near Port Pirie and all the details of the Mortlock Shield reshuffle. Welcome back. Port Pirie is proving to be a national leader in renewable energy, with tens of millions of dollars being invested into a number of solar projects. The Community Home Solar Scheme initiative is even drawing interest from Queensland councils.
From solar farms to council initiatives, Port Pirie and its surrounds proving to be a heavy hitter when it comes to renewables. Its success has captured the interest of the Premier's office and has opened up more opportunities for the town.
Port Pirie has the highest uptake under the state government's battery scheme.
Port Pirie's Regional Council Home Solar Scheme is now gaining national attention, with upwards of 30 councils across the country expressing interest.
I've spoken to councils in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria and Western Australia.
The town's flat surrounds make it a favourable location for large-scale solar farms. Connecting to the state's power network is also easy thanks to the loading station in Bungama. Edging closer to completion, Renew Power Group's $9.5 million solar farm is an infrastructural testament of what's to come.
At the beginning of January, this was a empty field. 2 months later, the construction element is pretty much done.
When it's operational, the site will produce 12,000 megawatt hours per annum, a significant amount of power going into the local grid.
Our intention is to work with a local South Australian or even better Port Pirie company.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A potential plan to give the Broken Hill Visitor Information Centre site to the police so they can build a new station has been scrapped. The option was part of a cultural framework from City Council as it prepares to build a new library on the city's main street. The proposal would have seen the tourist centre demolished and services transferred to the library, but many locals on social media heavily criticised the idea. Council is encouraging residents to give feedback on the cultural framework while it's on public display. Port Lincoln's airport is one step closer in a bid to secure a commercial pilot training facility. Flight Training Adelaide first trialling the airport in January to see if it was suitable to expand the program beyond Parafield Airport. Plans are now moving forward with a proposal of 27 accommodation facilities capable of housing 170 students and staff. The project would cost around $24 million. The towns of Alford and Butte have now consistent mobile coverage thanks to a 50-metre phone tower. The region no longer to be labelled as a mobile black spot.
This freshly built, looming stainless steel mobile tower off of Haldanes Road, connecting the towns of Butte and Alford to the rest of the world.
It actually delivers coverage 13 k's south, 13 k's north of Alford, 10 k's to the east and 10 k's to the west.
Telstra teaming up with the federal government to connect regional areas through the Black Spots program. The Alford Tower is the last to be built as part of the third phase of the national operations, with residents waiting 3 years to see it go ahead.
Of course there's black spots everywhere, but we're filling them in. This will be actually, I think, 23 towers delivered under the mobile phone black spot program, and we've got another 16 in the pipeline.
Knowing the surrounding coverage is up to scratch is a huge sigh of relief for local emergency services.
This assures us of communications at all times in the event of our radio network failing.
Telstra's Mark Bolton believes the new infrastructure will be fundamental to the future of the region's agriculture, allowing farmers to connect equipment and even paddock gates to the internet.
Going to allow us to have more agricultural IoT services in the future. It's going to make farming a lot more easier, a lot more efficient and a lot more productive.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The owner of the Southern Middleback mines near Whyalla has become the first to sign a voluntary code of conduct. CIMEC Mining has committed to an industry sustainable development code. It was written by the State Chamber of Mines and Energy to improve industry's management of natural resources. CIMEC will aim to improve practices in areas such as ethics, health and safety and environmental management. The Eyre Peninsula's Mortlock Shield has undergone a team reshuffle following news the carnival will be reduced to 6 teams. Key League set to step aside from the competition, known as the longest-running football carnival.
It's one of the biggest sporting events on the Eyre Peninsula calendar, undergoing a reshuffle with 2 leagues withdrawing from the event.
The EP Sharks agreed that they would go into recess for a period of 12 months and bring it back to a 6-team format.
It comes after the Far North Football League decided to pull out. As the competition needs an even amount of teams, the reigning champions EP Sharks decided to step down.
That means that, maybe the Sharks don't get to be involved, but that means the carnival continues to be great and prosper, and that's the most important thing here.
That team is entirely made up of the region's former football players, who organisers say will still be able to compete in this year's carnival, but under a new format.
Each league can have up to 4 players that are ex-EP players that were originally from their league. It gives the opportunity for those expats players to still be involved in the Mortlock Shield.
The Mortlock Committee says it will still be a great event with some new opportunities, including the potential for a women's game during the weekend.
We think that's really exciting and going to be a bit of a showcase for the weekend and give those girls an opportunity to show their skills.
The carnival will kick off on the June long weekend. Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Cricket teams on the Lower Eyre Peninsula celebrated, and a concert to honour one of Broken Hill's most prominent musicians. Welcome back. A concert will be held in Broken Hill this Sunday to honour one of the city's leading long-term music mentors. Multiple musicians from across the town will come together to raise money for a good cause.
Getting in some last-minute rehearsals before the big performance.
2 p.m. on Sunday at the Civic Centre be early and be generous.
This weekend we'll see a memorial concert held in honour of one of Broken Hill Music's leading lights, Nessie Austin. Those who knew Nessie say she was very active when it came to the performing arts, organising dozens and dozens of concerts. She sadly passed away in September last year.
And we thought it was only fitting to try and raise some funds and first of all, to do a memorial concert for her, but secondly, to raise some funds for a scholarship in her name.
The concert brings together a number of the city's music groups for what will be a major joint performance at the Civic Centre.
We have the Broken Hill Civic Orchestra, the Philharmonic Choir, the BIU Band and the Cameron Pipe Band, plus 2 wonderful guest artists.
Tickets are available at the door. Miss Cottrell hopes people are generous when buying them.
Oh, well, come along. You're assured of a great variety of music, everything from Andrew Lloyd Webber to the Moonlight Sonata and in between.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Cyclists from regional Victoria are on a journey of over 3,000 kilometres to raise awareness of mental health issues. The group riding across the Nullarbor having a quick pit stop in Port Augusta to share their heartfelt story.
9 riders, 13 gruelling days of pedalling, all to spread a wider message.
How can we change the whole system of care, the community attitudes about mental health within our society?
The group deciding to pick up their bikes and set off on the journey of a lifetime from Perth to Warrnambool.
The ride's been far more challenging than I actually first thought.
Battling all the elements the Nullarbor has to offer.
Wind, heat, sadly a lot of roadkill that doesn't smell very good.
The idea to pedal across the country was sparked after the small town in regional Victoria was shattered by a high number of suicides. The trip has been a chance to share their message in communities along the way, including Port Augusta last night.
We need to check in every now and again, as I said before. Be yourself. Be true to yourself.
They want to reduce the impact of mental illnesses, which can leave regional communities heartbroken.
The community, the family, the friends, they never recover from it.
The DIY peloton will move on to Clare tonight, before pedalling for the home stretch.
Tailem Bend, the Narracourt and then home, and we're all looking forward to home.
If you or anyone you know needs help, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Lower Eyre Peninsula's cricket teams were celebrated last night at the annual awards dinner held in Port Lincoln. A successful night for Southern Eyre South, with the team taking out club championship.
A night of celebration. Cricket teams from around the region coming together to celebrate a successful season of cricket.
It's a fantastic culmination of a lot of hard work over the season, and it's great to be able to show them and congratulate them for their awards.
Wayback's Bruce Lloyd won the most valuable player, with his batting skills a tough competition. Troy Dunn from Southern Eyre South coming runner-up.
It just gives a bit of recognition, other than premierships, to individual players that, even though it's a team game, it's nice to have an individual award.
SES coming home with a Champions Trophy. No one able to stop Ben Smith, who won Most Valuable Player for the 2nd year in a row.
It's been a really enjoyable year. I think the older you get, the more you appreciate cricket. So, yeah, it's been good fun.
Cricket legend Jeff Thompson making an appearance, reflecting on his career as one of the fastest bowlers to play Test cricket.
There's plenty of highlights, beating the West Indies several times, beating them in the World Series cricket. There's so many highlights, so much fun.
The season isn't over yet, with Southern Eyre South going head-to-head with Tasmans in the grand final this Sunday at Centenary Oval.
Southern Eyre South and Tasmans Cricket Club are worthy contenders for that match, and it'll be a really good game of cricket.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Next up, we'll have fish and tips, and Britt will join us with the weather. Thanks for joining us. Now time to see which fish are biting across the regions.
Excited to talk to you today. We've got this crossover going on our season where we've got yellowfin whiting still out there, we've got blue swimmer crabs out there, but the King George whiting is starting to pop up as well. A little bit more cooler mornings, we should see a good catch being around, but the best thing of all is our squid season is about to start in a couple of weeks' time. So prepare yourself, get ready for those squid that'll be an onslaught going soon, because as you know, the first part of the season they're on full on and then they disappear for a little while.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fish and Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel the North. Well, a real change of seasons at the moment, nice and cold in the mornings, and that means you're getting a mixed bag of fish. Lots of salmon trout around, as you'd expect, up in the creeks. Some large Tommy Ruffs too getting caught on the troll there while you're trying for salmon as well. Lots and lots of crabs. Middle banks seem to be the best and a little bit deeper. They're taking a little bit longer to get in the nets, but they're still around. There's been the odd snapper around, but also there's been some mulloway down on the Seabird. That's all we have for the Jewel North.
Hi, Whyala's fishing report this week. With the fresh tides this week, the fishing should heat up again throughout Whyala. There has been some nice bag limits of crabs still coming in from the boaties, both north and south of Whyala. Really good numbers, so now's the time to get amongst those. Land-based across Whyala, there's been some really nice silver whiting coming in from the Cowlards Landing area on the south side of Cowlards, and also just in front of the caravan park. Again, still some nice big garfish coming in from the foreshore as well, both on the new beach and the old beach. There's been some nice garfish coming in from there.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Lincoln. Starting up around Tumby Bay, there's been a few whiting, squid and snapper around there still. There's also been some yellowfin whiting down along the beaches down south, and a few flatheads starting to show up as well. Moving down towards Port Lincoln, there's been some yellowfin whiting up for Louth. The yellowfin is starting to move down towards Port Lincoln. Places like Stinky Creek and that have seen a few fish starting to show up there. The squid and the whiting have been doing okay. The squid have been best in late afternoon, evening tides. That's about it for this week. We'll see you all again next week.
Let's take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Louise. It's been a partly cloudy day across the region with maximum temperatures sitting 2 to 3 degrees above average. Port Augusta with a top of 31 today, Whyalla 28, Port Lincoln 24, Broken Hill 37, Port Pirie 32 and Adelaide 30. A high pressure system in the Tasman continues to extend a ridge over our region. Tomorrow a trough will deepen near the eastern border, drifting ahead of a vigorous front. On the waters, southerly winds tending southeasterly with winds at up to 20 knots, swells to 1.5 metres. Sunrise is due at 7:23 in the morning with sunset at 7:30. And we've got another partly cloudy day ahead of us tomorrow. Port Augusta 33, Whyalla 29, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both 24, Woodnor 30, Corn 33, Broken Hill 38, Port Pirie and Clare 31, Cleve 27, Kadina and Adelaide both 29. Looking ahead to the weekend, Port Lincoln partly cloudy on Saturday with wind and showers expected on Sunday. Cleve remaining fine with maximums in the late 20s. Woodnor 31 on Saturday, Sunday 28. Whyalla fine and partly cloudy, a top of 30 on Saturday. Port Augusta 35 on Saturday, Sunday cloudy and 29. Showers expected for Kadina on Sunday. Port Pirie 31 on Saturday, a 30% chance of showers on Sunday. Clare 30 on Saturday, Sunday windy with showers. And Broken Hill 37 on Saturday, dropping down to 30 on Sunday. Louise, back to you.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Thursday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later on with updates. Good night.